How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's video I'm going to be going over everything you need to know for the Triumph Together event in Pokemon Go. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first of all, this event is going to be taking place from August 23rd to August 30th, from 3 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Now with that being said, most of the time events do start at 10 a.m. local time, but apparently not for this event. Now, I think I have an understanding to why that is. It's most likely because of the global challenge bonuses that we're going to talk about in just a second. So the first challenge is going to be for Team Valor, where we have to defeat 75 million Team Go Rocket members. Team Go Rocket grunts are going to be appearing more frequently at Pokestops and balloons while this challenge is active. This also means that once the challenge has been completed, the Team Go Rocket grunts will also stop appearing as frequently. Now, keeping that in mind, there are going to be a ton of great Rocket grunts to farm during this event, and especially after all the recent stuff that's happened with Team Go Rocket grunts, I'm glad that we're actually getting more opportunities to get better encounters with them. Now, if you want to know what are the best Pokemon to use to actually beat the Team Go Rocket grunts, I just put together an in-depth video which you guys can find linked down below. Now, once we've actually completed this global event challenge, we're going to get a special timed research which is going to award us a costume Ponyta, which is essentially the Valor costume. This does have a chance to be shiny, same thing with the rest of the encounters that I'm going to talk about later. This is one of the rare shinies to get in the game because the only other time this Pokemon was released, I believe, was last year during another timed research where you could only get one of them. So this is the second time where you can actually encounter this Pokemon, and if you get it shiny, that is literally one of the rarest shinies in the entire game. Now on top of that, we're also going to get a bonus for the remainder of the event, which is going to be 2x spin experience on Pokestops. To be honest, this bonus is pretty weak in my opinion, but now that we've actually completed the global event challenge for Valor, we're going to unlock the next one for Instinct, which is going to be to hatch 20 million eggs. Now while this challenge is active, we're going to get the special bonus of 1/2 incubator distance, which is actually a really good bonus, but the special 7-kilometer eggs that are going to be available during this event are kind of mediocre in my opinion. So in total, we're going to get 6 featured Pokemon from 7-kilometer eggs during this portion of the event. We're going to get Grimer with a party hat, which is featured during the 8th anniversary event. We're going to get Slugma. We're going to get Slackoth with a visor cap. We're going to get Litleo, Komala, and Togedemaru. So taking a look at all those Pokemon, none of them are really that good to be honest. I think this part of the event is really going to drag, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Personally speaking, I'm not really that motivated to hatch a bunch of mid-eggs. I'm actually surprised I didn't put a good chase Pokemon in like Larvesta. That would have actually been a bit more interesting. Now eventually, once we actually complete this global challenge, we're gonna get another special timed research with the special Pokemon Elekid, which is going to be the Instinct costume. We're also going to get the special bonus of 2x Hatch Stardust for the remainder of the event. Now, to be honest guys, with this Hatch Stardust bonus, I would recommend saving up all of your 12-kilometer eggs and trying to hatch as many of these as possible with a star piece active. Ideally, you would want to do 12 times 12, but that is kind of a lot of eggs to actually gather. If you can though, that would be amazing, because this will get you a ridiculous amount of Stardust from that 2x Hatch Stardust bonus. Now for those unfamiliar with 12-kilometer eggs, you guys can actually get these from the Team Go Rocket leaders, assuming you have the available egg space. These will automatically get added to your bonus egg storage, which can hold up to 3 special eggs, but if you want to actually add a 12-kilometer egg to your normal egg storage, you have to make sure that you hatch an egg, create a free storage spot, and then go battle a team leader to get that 12-kilometer egg. That is the only way to do it. Like if you spin any Pokestops along the way, you're going to get a 2-kilometer or 5-kilometer or 10-kilometer egg. So considering that we're going to have a mini Team Go Rocket takeover during part 1 of this event, I would recommend trying to grind out all the 12-kilometer eggs during that portion of the event, and then once we actually get the 2x Hatch Stardust bonus, then you could go ahead and incubate all of your eggs and then drop a star piece as you get close to actually hatching all of them at once. That's probably going to be one of my main goals for this event, is try to actually get a full inventory of 12-kilometer eggs. I've actually never done a 12 times 12, so that's going to be something I really want to get done. Now following that, we are going to unlock the third and final global challenge, which is going to be for Team Mystic, and this one is going to be to get 35 million field research tasks done. So event-themed field research tasks will be available while this challenge is active, and you can encounter the following Pokemon: Cyndaquil, Beldum, Tortuga, Arcan, Ducklet, Emolga, Tynamo, Goomy, Crabrawler, and Tandemaus. So as you can tell, there's going to be a couple of good field research Pokemon available in here, which we're going to talk about more in depth later. We're also going to be getting Tandemaus back, which actually hasn't been available since its initial release, and for those who don't know, there's actually a rare variant of its evolution, Mousehold, which is a 1 out of 100 chance to get, which is going to be a family of 3 instead of a family of 4. And then finally, for the reward, we're going to be getting a special timed research featuring the Team Mystic Lapras, which can be shiny, and then we're also going to get this bonus for the remainder of the event. 2 extra large candy guaranteed per evolution. So in my opinion, this is one of the best bonuses of this event, but it's difficult to say how long we're actually going to have it available for. I really don't think that many people are going to be hatching eggs during this event, and it's hard to say if Niantic is going to kind of artificially inflate the number, but if they don't, then we're probably going to drag through that Instinct Global Challenge for quite some time before we actually get to the Mystic one, which that one should go by much quicker because field research tasks really aren't that difficult to get done. Either way though, once we eventually get this bonus, since we're not going to have any event-themed Pokemon in the wild, this most likely means that the spawns will be Kanto focused like normal. So there is actually an upside to this because there are a few Kanto Pokemon that benefit from the discounted trait evolution. You're going to have Ghastly, which evolves into Gengar, Abra, which evolves into Alakazam, Machop, which evolves into Machamp, and then finally Geodude, which evolves into Golem. So for the first to second stage evolution, it's going to cost you 25 candy like normal, but for the evolution after that to its final stage form, this one is going to be free. So since you're essentially going to be doing 2 evolutions, that means you're going to get 4 extra large candy for each of these Pokemon. If you do have a trade partner or like an alt account available, you can really take advantage of this by mirror trading these Pokemon and then evolving them. So when it comes down to it, Gengar and Alakazam are both going to have Mega Evolution, so you might want to focus on getting more extra large candy on those 2 Pokemon to eventually max them out. Now Machamp does not have access to a Mega Evolution, but it does have access to a Gigantamax form, which is going to be released soon with the Dynamax feature in Pokemon GO. So grinding out some extra large candy might be a good idea if this Pokemon actually becomes meta relevant in this form. Now the only Pokemon here that I would skip is going to be Golem, just because it's mainly used as a temporary raid attacker these days and you don't really want to max one out to level 50. So make sure to take advantage of these trade evolution Pokemon during this event, especially since we're most likely just going to have Kanto spawns around the entire area. There are other trade evolution Pokemon available in game, but since they're not going to be featured, I figured there's no point going over them. Moving on though, let's talk about the special event ticket, which is going to be $5. So from this event ticket, you're going to get 2 premium raid passes, 1 rocket radar, 1 super incubator, and 1 lure module, along with more encounters with those team leader costume Pokemon. So I'm assuming like 1 extra encounter. So the value is there for the premium items alone. It's about $2 above what you would typically pay for at shop value. There's definitely nothing too crazy, but there is like a small amount of savings in here. But I'm sure most players are probably going to buy this for that extra chance at the costume shiny Pokemon. Once again, these are some of the rarest shinies to get in the game due to their limited releases. So if you are actually planning on buying this ticket, I would highly recommend going through the web sort because you're also going to get an extra incubator by doing that. Next up, let's take a look at the PokeStop XXL Showcases. So we're going to have showcases featured during this event, and I highly recommend participating in these to get some free rewards. And if you're actually able to place either first or second, you can get some really good premium items like incubators, lucky eggs, start pieces, incense, and lure modules. Now with that being said, if I had to predict what Pokemon is going to be featured during this event, I'm most likely going to guess the team leader costume Pokemon. We might also get an all-type showcase as well, but other than that, I'm not really sure. This event is a little bit harder to predict than the other events that we've actually had. So with that being said, if you guys have any predictions on what you think these showcase Pokemon might be, let me know in the comment section down below. Following that, let's go over the legendary and mega raids that are going to be available during this event. The rotation for both of these Pokemon is going to be from August 21st to September 3rd, so you guys definitely have a decent amount of time to go out and raid some of these. So first up, let's go over the legendary Pokemon Xerneas. Now unfortunately, this Pokemon is not going to get access to its legacy fast move Geomancy, which is very important for running it in both raids as well as PvP. It also doesn't have access to Charmer like any other fairy type fast move, so you pretty much have to give it the Elite TM if you want it to be usable. The small amount of good news here is that players don't really use Elite Fast TMs as often compared to Elite Charge TMs, so I'm sure some of you guys probably do have extras available if you do end up getting a good IV spread. So keeping that in mind, I would definitely recommend going out to farm this Pokemon mainly just for good IVs and candy. Now in terms of PvP relevance, it is currently ranked at number 17 in the Open Master League right now, which is pretty good. This is also factoring in the recent meta changes. And I forgot to mention this as well, but Xerneas can be shiny, so that's probably going to be a good selling point for some of you. Now in the Mega Raids, we're going to have Mega Salamence available from the same time period, so for those that were unable to actually get Mega Rayquaza during the Elite Raid Day and then again during the Elite Raid Day makeup, Mega Salamence will be making its return to raid battles, and this is going to be the 3rd best Dragon-type Mega in the game, next to Garchomp and then Rayquaza. So we did have a calm day for Bagon in April, so hopefully some of you guys were able to get some good IV spreads on Salamence with that exclusive moveset Outrage. If you didn't though, no worries. Surprisingly, Mega Salamence with Draco Meteor is on par with Outrage, even though it is objectively worse for Salamence in its non-Mega form. So if you don't have Mega Rayquaza or Mega Garchomp, make sure to go out and get a few of these raids done to add this powerhouse to your team. Now during this event, we're also going to have a Spotlight Hour for Magnemite on August 27th at 6 p.m. local time. So basically when evolved to Magnezone, this Pokemon does have some decent play in the Open Great League and Ultra League metas. Once again, this is factoring all of the upcoming meta changes for the next season in Pokemon GO. This could also be used as a budget Electro-type attacker if you're able to catch a few at level 30 or higher. There's going to be no Stardust required, just evolve them under a Magnetic Lure with 100 candy and then update the movesets accordingly to Spark plus Wild Charge, For reference, level 30 is when a Pokemon requires 5,000 Stardust to power it up. If you're ever confused on how Pokemon levels actually work in game, then check out some of my other videos going over this. Now during this event, we're also going to have the special bonus as 2x Evolve experience. If you guys want to actually grind experience instead, then I would actually gather about 70 evolutions in a search tag per lucky egg. And if you can, try and coordinate any friendship level ups during this time as well. There's a possibility that we may have the Mystic bonus of 2 extra large candy active when evolving Pokemon by this point, so with that being said, this would be a great time to actually focus on that bonus as well, especially if you don't want to hunt down the Magnemite spawns. Now finally, let's go over the best Pokemon to focus on during this event. So first of all, for Team Go Rocket Grunt, I would recommend checking out this video right here to know which are the best ones to hunt during this current rotation while this bonus is active. Now you won't be able to tam Frustration away during this event, so make sure to hold on to anything you get good IVs on. Now when it comes down to the second portion of this event, I'm not going to recommend hatching any eggs either. The Pokemon are pretty mid unless you guys want to actually try for any of the shinies available. For those of you who have watched my content for a while now though, you know how I feel about hatching eggs in Pokemon Go. The shiny rates have historically been awful even when boosted, and they're not even going to be boosted during this event. So to be honest, outside of your infinite incubator, I really wouldn't recommend hatching more than that. So basically that just leaves us with the field research Pokemon. So for those who don't know, the IV floor on field research Pokemon is going to be 10, 10, 10. So unfortunately none of them will be Great League or Ultra League eligible for PvP. Now with that being said, you can trade with a friend to try and reroll the IVs to a more desirable spread if you want. But to be honest, I would just rather hunt these in the wild when they actually become available, because you can actually focus on getting a 0 attack IV spread, where if you're actually trading with like a best friend for example, the lowest IV spread you could get would be 5, which is fine when it comes down to really rare Pokemon, but not for the Pokemon featured during this event. So with that being said, we're just going to focus on the Master League and the Raid/Gym meta, starting off with Beldum, which evolves into Metagross. So we just had Beldum Calm Day a few days ago, but if you weren't actually able to get a hundo, this would be a good opportunity to keep trying, and then if you actually do end up getting it, you can evolve it during December Calm Day to get the exclusive moveset Meteor Mash on your Metagross. As far as Steel type attackers go, Metagross is one of the best Pokemon to have in the entire game next to Duskmane Necrozma. Now following that, the next Pokemon to focus on is going to be Tandemaus, which evolves into Maushold. So as I mentioned earlier, I would recommend Pineapple Berrying every single Tandemaus you encounter so that you can attempt to get that rare family of 3 form in game. Once again, the chance to actually get this rare evolution form is going to be 1 out of 100. The next Pokemon we're going to talk about is going to be Goomy, which evolves into Goodra for the Open Master League. So similar to Beldum, if you guys weren't able to get a hundo, this would be another good opportunity to keep trying and then evolve during December Calm Day to get the exclusive moveset Thunder Punch on your Goodra. But that being said, according to the recommendations on PvPoke, this move is actually not required on Goodra right now, but it might be relevant in the future when there is a meta shakeup. It's up to you if you want to hunt this, but it's going to be more of a niche option, since Goodra doesn't really have much relevance in the Raid/Gym meta. And that's basically it. Like, Cyndaquil is featured as well during this event from the field research encounters, but once again, because of the IV floor, you can't really get optimal IV spreads for PvP. One tip I do want to recommend though is to actually stack all of your field research encounters and then redeem them during Popplio Calm Day for 3x catch experience, or during Ponyta Calm Day for 3x catch Stardust. You can actually stack up to 100 field research encounters, and given that we have to complete 35 million of them, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of field research encounters during this portion of the event. So make sure to stack them if you actually want to redeem them for more experience or more Stardust during a future Calm Day. So basically, in conclusion, I think there are certain aspects of this event that will be enjoyable, like during the Valor challenge, but the other 2 challenges kind of feel mid in comparison. This is going to be the final event of the Shared Sky season in Pokemon Go, and I honestly do think that Niantic could have added just a bit more to make this event more interesting and exciting. That being said though, the guaranteed extra large candy when evolving should be a pretty good bonus to take advantage of, so I am looking forward to that. Anyways though, that's pretty much everything I have for you guys in this video. If you do want to check out some more content, I'm going to recommend these 2 videos right here, and before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.